All right. How about now? We good? Trying to pop up? Anybody see it? We're trying to go live. We're having some trouble. How about now? Are we live? All right, we're live. Good morning. Welcome to Dan Cummins. All that good stuff. All right, cool. All right, we're live. Thank you guys for tuning in. Dan Cummins Chevrolet, Paris, Kentucky. Got some good stuff for you. I wanted to start off real quick this morning and say thank you for all of your hard work. Last week was a knockdown, drag-out fight. We had a lot of interesting scenarios, a lot of customers and things we had to work around, but everybody dug in and we got it done. And I appreciate it. We're pacing some massive numbers, some record-breaking numbers. I'm excited about it, and I'm really excited because the BDC has put up a massive amount of appointments for today, so we're going to have a big day today as well. Right? We just needed Amber Painter back, right? We were just missing Amber Painter. That's what it was. All right, so we got a lot of big things going on, which I appreciate. Let's start off by touching on a couple of these, and I think my screen maybe changed a little bit. Why did it do that? This was the one I got last night that I really loved. My family has bought cars from Mo previously, and it was always a great experience. This time around, my experience was 10 times better than before. Mo always does what he can to make the deal happen. Today, not only did I walk out a happy customer, I walked out with my brand new car. I will never do business anywhere else. Ashley Buffalo. Yeah, sure he is. Yeah, he's a customer. I saw him already. Today I bought a Chevy Equinox from Dan Cummins Chevrolet in Paris, Kentucky. I can't say enough about the service I received. My salesman, Paul Buchanan, was the best. He was very helpful throughout the whole process. I can honestly say I am now a customer for life. You guys have been reading some of Paul's posts on Facebook. If you're not friends with Paul on Facebook, you need to friend him. His posts are ridiculous. They're very, 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 very funny. Silly stuff like Mike drives a Honda, so-and-so drives a truck, watch out, this guy's single. It's like just silly stuff, okay? I can't even say it. It's all silly. But join his stuff. It's awesome. I love it. Ricky Rose, great car at a great price, super friendly customer service. Jimmy Rivard is the guy to see if you're in the market for a car. Overall, we had a good experience at Dan Cummins. Our sales consultant was Robbie Leach. He was helpful in finding us what we were looking for and showing us many options. The used car selection is great, and the website inventory is up to date. Powertrain warranty is a plus. The process was long, as expected when purchasing a car. There were a few unnecessary required recommendation forms that were annoying, but we wound up with a great car at a good price. Nice job. Okay, all right, let's get into some of this stuff right here. Hopefully I don't mess this up. Slideshow from beginning. Okay, good. Okay, we're gonna go back in time just a little bit, okay? I'm gonna you guys all know I've got tons of kids and stuff, and so my kids always kind of inspire me to do different things and to think about different things, so on and so forth. Joel is actually here with me this morning. You know, he got up. I was upstairs working on some stuff, and actually, let's back up even further. Last night, Joel's like, "I'm sleeping in the bed with you tonight," and we're like, "No, you're not, dude. Like, Mom needs to get a good night's sleep. We didn't get a good night's sleep the night before. You're not doing it." He's like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna go get my blanket. I'm gonna go get my Iron Man. I'm sleeping in the bed with you." I'm like, "No, dude. Like, you're not. It's not happening." And he's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna go ask Mom." So he goes to, I'm like, "Go ahead," because I know how she is, right? So he goes to Mom, and he's like, "Mom, I'm sleeping in the bed with you tonight." She's like, "There's no way, dude. You sleep all over my legs. Like, you keep me awake. You kick me. It's not happening. You're not sleeping in our bed tonight." He goes, "All right, I'm going to go grab my blanket. I'm going to go grab Iron Man. I'm sleeping in your bed." Right? So my wife, you know, she just looks over at me. I look back at her. It's like, "What do you do, man? I mean, the kid's persistent. His sister's having a sleepover. He wants to sleep in the bed. I mean, the bed's big, right? He's little. No big deal." So he like sells us on it. He says, I'll just sleep on Dad's side, Mom. I'll make sure to stay away from you. I won't touch you. I won't interfere with you. I'll just sleep on Dad's side. So we give in, We're like, okay, cool. So he climbs in bed. This morning I wake up and where is he? Legs in my wife's side, like he's got her all kicked up, balled into a ball. But anyways, the point is, he's fearless and to the point where he's triumphant, right? Do you guys remember being that way? Do you remember just being absolutely like fearless, not afraid to approach anyone, not afraid to ask for anything, completely fearless, and typically you'd end up triumphant in a lot of situations, right? So we just go after it. We would just go after it. I remember, that kid's really cute too. That one's not mine, in case you guys are wondering. Okay? I've got a lot, but that one's not mine. So I remember when Joel broke his leg. Joel broke his leg. I mean, for those of you that don't know, I spent like a week with my neighbor putting together a trampoline for my kids that I told my wife we did not need or want, just in case you're watching. So I spent a week putting together this trampoline. I wouldn't let the kids touch it until we got up like the safety nets, all the safety barriers. Like it had to be 100% safe before the kids were even allowed to get on it. Which as a kid it was horrible because I had the whole thing set up and it's out in the backyard, but I didn't have the nets up and they're fighting with my wife and I'm having to work and they're wanting to get on the trampoline. She's like, you can't get on the trampoline. They're like, please! And Dad's like, no, we can't do it. So finally, Sunday afternoon, we get the trampoline, it's done. Me and my neighbor Daniel put it together. We put up the final netting, we test everything, we stretch it out, everything's perfect. I'm like, all right. Kids, go ahead, you can get on the trampoline. So Savannah jumps in there first, and the neighbor kid, Lily, she jumps in there, and Joel climbs up in there, and he bounces one time, he breaks his leg. Right then and there, one bounce, snap, just below the knee. Cracked it. And he's screaming, ah! Ah! And I'm like, Joel, calm down, dude. Like, there's people around. Keep your cool. He's like, I've broken my leg! I'm like, okay, maybe this is a little more serious than I thought. I'm like, telling him, walk it off, boy, walk it off, But he broke it below the knee. So we take him to the hospital. Next day, tore the trampoline down, and we got rid of it, right? He comes in with his cast. He comes back, he's got his wheelchair and all that, and of course you would think, me personally, maybe a little embarrassed, maybe a little shy. I mean, look at Brian for the first couple of weeks that he was back here, right? Real quiet, didn't want anybody to talk to him, broke his femur. Or his hip, was it your hip? Femur, oh, sorry. So real shy, but not Joel, right? Fearless and triumphant. Joel's like, I'm going to take advantage of this. So he goes outside, he's got his cast, he's got his wheelchair, and he just rounded up all the neighborhood girls, obviously, and made a little spectacle of himself. So I was proud of my son for not just getting reclusive and hiding in a situation like that. So it reminds me, now this is going to be, we're going to pretend like this is Flagstaff, Arizona, okay, if it had an ocean view, but there was this one time where I was a kid, I think I was 7 years old living in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I swear, the apartment complex that we live in, I swear it has the steepest hill in all of the world, right? Because as you get older, you walk uphill both ways in the snow, right? So it was the steepest hill, like, ever on the planet. And all the neighborhood kids always were like, man, that hill's crazy, and it went right down into traffic. And so we would our parents would tell us to stay off the hill. And I just got this crazy idea one day. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my skateboard, I'm going to skateboard on my stomach down this hill, right? Fearless and triumphant. So I gather up all the neighborhood kids. There's probably 15, 20 of them. I don't know where our parents were back then. Who knows? We just ran the streets. So I gather up all these kids, and I've got my skateboard. I'm completely shirtless, right? The hill looks just like that. That's exactly how I remember it, just straight freaking downhill. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to do this, high-fiving them like all, Vin Diesel and Fast and the Furious, hey, girl, smiling and stuff. I'm cool, right? So get on the skateboard, lay down like this, push off. I'm flying down the hill. Wind's going past me, everybody cheering, woo, it's freaking awesome. I'm like, yeah, this is amazing. Going down the hill, and all of a sudden, my skateboard hits a little pebble, a little rock, and it stops. And I keep going. Off the skateboard, onto my chest, and down the hill. You ever seen Cheese Grater? When it cuts cheese? That's basically what happened to my chest. Okay, the skin, when I stood up, when I finally came to a stop, which felt like 60 miles later, When I came to a stop, I stood up and the skin on my chest had just rolled down just like that. It's basically what it looked like. There's blood everywhere. I could see like the white, you know how when you cut your skin too deep, it's all like white under there. So I could see the white and the little porous cells and the blood. And I stood up and I'm looking around. There's all these people like just staring at me like, oh my God, I cannot believe this happened. And I just stood there for a minute and I was like, I think I'm going to go home now. And I just ran home. Right? I just ran home. Didn't know what to do. And again, I don't know where my parents were at the time. So I ran home and I kind of hid in shame for a little while I healed up. But I remember that incident, and looking back, of course, I wanted to blame, it was the rock's fault. What the hell was that rock doing there? And my skateboard. Why couldn't they make a better skateboard so we can go over rocks? And it was everybody's fault, but my own. Of course, it's fearless and triumphant. And had a victim mentality then that I did for a really long time. But really, whose fault was it? It was my fault, right? It was my fault that this happened to me. And it was my fault that this happened to me for a couple reasons, but one of the reasons was I wasn't really prepared for that situation, was I? I'm on the top of a hill on a skateboard, like half naked, at 7 years old, planning on going downhill. Is that good preparation? I don't think that's very good preparation, right? Not smart. Probably should have, if I was going to do it, I probably should have had some clothes on. That would have been a good start, right? Maybe put some pads on. Maybe been a little more prepared. Maybe went down and kind of swept the area where I was going to go so there weren't little rocks. Should have been more prepared, right? Before anything else, preparation is the key to success. Alexander Graham Bell said this. We have to be prepared for every situation that we go into. Now that's pretty much the main difference between us as children and us as adults, right? When we were kids, it's just fearless and triumphant. Now that we're not kids anymore, now that we're adults, we got to make sure we're prepared for every situation. Okay? The second thing that I underestimated in that situation, I didn't realize how much energy and effort it was going to take to get this skateboard with me on it all the way down a hill, right? And think about that. A lot of times, it is impossible to overestimate the amount of energy it takes to succeed. We got to make sure we have more than enough fuel in the tank than we'll ever need. Basically, you can't underestimate what it takes. This is what we tend to run into. Okay? So, we'll go into a situation. I'm going to use an example like here at the dealership. Okay? We'll go into this thing at the dealership all gung-ho. We're ready to sell, we're ready to sell cars. We're wanting to sell cars. Okay? We're excited. We're motivated. We train. We've done everything that we're supposed to do. Then we go into that day, and we can't get enough, right? It just happens sometimes. We don't get enough, or we pissed off somebody in the BDC, so we can't get a lead, right? That happens sometimes. So we run into these situations. Those situations are kind of like that pebble, right? They're kind of like that pebble in the road. And they can derail us pretty easily if we're not prepared and if we don't understand how much energy and effort it truly takes to get through these obstacles. Having one appointment a day, you'll never be successful. You just won't. Think of that pebble as an obstacle. Think of that pebble as, maybe a family member for your one appointment passes away and they can't make it in that day. Happens, right? Maybe they get sick. Maybe their kid gets sick. Maybe they get hit with some bill that they weren't expecting. Maybe some guy from some other dealership called them and got them a better deal. Maybe it can happen, right? So if we're not prepared for that situation and we're not understanding how much energy and effort it really takes to be successful, then that's going to throw us completely off our skateboard. We're going to skin down our chest. We're going to bleed all over the place. We're going to go crawl into the corner. And we're going to hide. Make sense? Okay? This is what we want to avoid. This is what we want to talk about. Because when you end up in that corner and you're hiding, this is what it looks like. This is what it feels like. You feel like you're all alone. You feel like, man, I'm doing everything. I did this, I did that. And here I am, and the storm's around me. Maybe the storm is my girlfriend broke up with me. And now I feel all alone. Or maybe the storm is my bills are catching up with me. I don't have enough money to pay my bills right now. Maybe that's the storm. Maybe you're having a hard time building a relationship with your kids, or you're having a hard time getting along with maybe some of your coworkers. Who knows what the storm is? These storms, they exist. And this is what it feels like when we let those pebbles turn into these big boulders, and they get in our way, and they keep us from accomplishing our goals and achieving success at the level we want to get at. I need you guys to understand how important this is, okay? A lot of us have been on this road. A lot of us are currently on this road. Okay? A lot of us are here. I get it. I totally get it. I need you to understand there's ways to avoid this. There's a ways to avoid ending up here. And setting one appointment a day is not going to do it. It won't. Putting in 60% energy or 70% effort won't do it. Making phone calls from 9 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock in the morning, it's not going to keep you away from these storms. It will not keep you away from the storms, I promise. It takes an overwhelming amount of energy and effort. Overwhelming amount. You've got to be prepared and ready for any obstacle or any pebble that comes in your way. You've got to be able to blast right through it with so much momentum and so much energy. That's the only way you can avoid these storms. It's the only way. But I know some of you guys feel like you're alone, and I want you guys to understand something. You are 100% not alone. You're not alone. I know it feels that way sometimes. Sitting at your house, you might go, oh my God, the girl's gone, can't pay my bills, ain't got nobody. That's not true. Not here, not in this dealership. It's not true. I've worked in dealerships where you're out there on your own. But this isn't one of them. Okay, you are not alone. You are a part of a team that will lift you up and that will support you. That will do everything that we can possibly do to help you make sure that you are prepared and that you are vibrating at this energy level where you're able to blast through any of the obstacles that will come your way. Because I promise, there will be a lot of obstacles that will come your way. What we're trying to do in this place is hard. Nobody sells 1,000 cars a month out of a town of 10,000 people. Nobody does it. We're going to do it. Okay? So you're not alone. Okay? You've got guys like me and Paul Meyer, right? Paul's right there. We're here for you. Okay? I've got 14 years experience in the business. I've also got probably just as many years of experience in the streets. Okay? We can talk. I'll be here for you. I can help you. I promise. I'm here. Paul can help you. He's here. That's what he's here for. He's as passionate about this place as anybody. Okay? Your management team is here to help. You're not alone. You got to talk to us, though. You got to talk to us, and you got to put in the energy and the effort. Okay? Zach and Robbie are here for you. Okay? All right? They're here for you, man. Robbie's been here. He's been here working for a long time. He's helped me out in a lot of ways. Him and I have developed quite a friendship and quite a bond. And even more than that, Robbie brought us Zach. Robbie brought us Zach, and Zach has blown our mind with his skills and his talents and his abilities. And nobody wants to help you more, I promise. Nobody wants to help you more, man. When Zach first came into this place, he was just a country bumpkin that was like doing cake stands and freaking fighting, every night and couldn't remember his name, and it was all on Snapchat. Okay? Look how much he's grown. Because he understands that he's part of a team, and he wants to help everybody else, and the only way he can help everybody else is make sure he's prepared for all these situations, all these obstacles, all the things that are going to come his way. Him and his dad both been a member of this team for a long time. All right? Brian Taylor. My man Brian Taylor is here for you. All right? That guy right there will help you. He'll help you, I promise. Okay? All right, Brian Taylor's been with us for a few years. He's got a lot of experience. He came from some other dealerships. Okay? Brian's got a lot of wisdom. Brian is one of those guys that thinks things through kind of all the way to the end. Sometimes we're like, Brian, the zombie apocalypse is not coming, I promise. But he worries about stuff like that, which is good because he's prepared. If there is a zombie apocalypse, we're going to his house. Okay? But Brian's here to help you. You're not alone. I promise. You okay, Jimmy? You're not alone. All right? Who else is here to help us? Mr. Sam Cox. Donkey Kong himself. All right? Sam Cox is here to help us. Okay? He might tell you for a second that he's not, but really he's the biggest hearted guy in the building. Okay? He's got a loud bark. He ain't got no fight. Not at all. Tough as nails. I've always considered Sam like the running back when I used to run the desk. You know, I was the QB, and anytime I needed to get the ball over the goal line, who you hand it to? Unless you're, Seattle or the Patriots. But you hand it to your running back, right? And Sam's always been that guy. You hand him the ball, he'll bury his head, and he'll freaking go through. He's here for you guys. In any way that you need him, he is here. Talk to him. He'll help you get prepared. He'll help you get to that level where you have all the energy you need to blast through every single obstacle, and he'll make sure that you don't feel alone. Okay? My management team is here for you. All right? You've got the Kara Joan Walton Woods. Is that right? Did I get all the last names in there? All right? They're all here. The whole dang family is here. You got the Kerrigan mama, the Kerrigan sisters, you got Kerrigan husbands, and Kerrigan, they're all here. And they all care about you, and they'll do anything that they can to help you. I think they've all shown that, right? Tim Walton's really been stepping up his game as of recent. Michael's moved over onto the desk. Brenna's been top finance person for I don't know how long. Rachel's starting to kill it in the BDC. Their mom's showing me a 95.1 CSI score right now, and I know it's her and not you. You guys think I don't know this stuff, but I know. Amber's killing it. You got a team of people that are here for you. Okay? They're all here for you. This guy right here, Josh Cummins, El Jefe, to do anything for you. Did you see him last week? Did you see him last week outside running around in shorts and a polo, sweating, jumping in and out of cars, just trying to make sure you guys have enough cars online so you can have a big day today? Not a whole lot of owners do that. I've worked in stores where you don't see owners for months on end. Or if you do see them, they're just there to pick up a paycheck. This guy's here for you, right? His door's not always open, but it's open a lot. And if it's not open, you can knock on it and he'll let you in. I promise. You can talk to him about anything you need to talk to him about. I do it all the time. I send him messages, I bounce stuff off of him. He's here for us. He cares about us. Same with his brother and his security team. They're here too. All right? Dusty will do anything for you. You got to hold his attention for a little bit, okay? It's not easy. Like, you got to hold his attention. But if you can hold his attention, he'll do anything for you. He was out there all last week too. Shorts and a polo. Starting cars, driving cars, making sure we had stuff online for you guys to sell. These guys care. Okay? You're not alone. You're not alone. There are people here that will help you get into a position where you're prepared for any obstacle that can be thrown your way. And you have enough energy and effort and momentum to blast through it. You're not alone, okay? You got some other members in our management staff like this guy right here. All right? All right? Now we're gonna let Cyprian represent our custom finance department, okay? Yeah, you guys better all go through your Facebooks as soon as you get out of here. I'm going to tell you right now, there's not a whole lot of pictures of finance managers up there because their stuff was clean. Jeremy's got like 5 pictures up there. They're all like this. Look, he's doing it now. All right? We've got this team of guys right here, Cyprian and Church and Brad and Jason and Tom. These guys will do anything for you. They'll fight tooth and nail to get you a deal. I promise. They'll come out and talk to your customers, right? They'll come out and sit with your customers. They'll hang in there for hours to get your deal done. They'll do whatever it takes, okay? You're not alone. You're absolutely not alone. There's so many people that are here that will help you to make sure you're prepared for any situation so you can blast through any obstacle that comes your way with the energy and momentum that you can build. You're not alone as part of this team. You're not alone in life. Not alone, period. All right? Now, on top of our wonderful team here, I think it's important that you understand that you are a spiritual being. And I know sometimes this can be tough to talk about at work, but this is so incredibly important that you get this. I don't really have an opinion. Maybe I do, maybe I just don't share it. But I don't have an opinion on what God you believe in or how you believe in God. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that. what I'm going to sit here and tell you is that you are a spiritual being. Okay? You're not just flesh and bone that lives and dies. It's not how it works. You're a spiritual being, and there's this guy called, or this girl called, or this whatever you want to believe called God. It's got your back. It's got your back in every situation that you're dealing with here, every situation that you're dealing with outside of here. Now, let me show you something real quick. I'm going to show you a quick little video about this guy we call God.
Tony and I have been married almost 13 years.
The year after we were married, our first child, Brooke, was born.
It was always on our heart to have many children.
We tried for years to have a child, and for some reason, we just never could conceive again. Eventually, we got very, very heartbroken, and we decided to become certified to become foster parents.
So we adopted our first baby. A few years later, we adopted a teenager and our son, Alexander. We were just in shock when I found out I was pregnant. We had prayed for 10 years, and Gideon was just a huge answer to prayer.
So right around Gideon's first birthday, we all sat down to eat lunch together, and his head was canted to the side. So I went to move his head up with my finger, and he screamed.
So we knew we had to take him to the pediatrician, and they urged us to visit the children's hospital.
But we went knowing that they weren't going to find anything.
So when they came back with the CT scan, surgeons came in and they said, your son has a brain tumor. Our world just stopped.
He was immediately going into a pediatric intensive care unit. There were no questions asked.
He was going to have surgery immediately. We called on everyone, and I just called through the tears, and I said, I need you to pray. He went in to have the tumor resection where they removed the tumor, and that's a 9.5-hour surgery.
To see your child, and he's a 12-month-old child, all he wants to do is play, and he couldn't.
You just feel so helpless. So directly after the surgery, his body was failing. They gave Gideon medication, but he had tears coming down his face, and my heart just broke into pieces. I just prayed to God, I need you. And God just gave me the most beautiful vision of these angels. They were surrounding Gideon. He had all this hair, and he was laughing, and he was smiling. It was perfect peace. And so for that moment, I knew no matter what the outcome was going to be, that God had our baby. So he spent 30 days recovering in the ICU. They biopsied the tumor and discovered that he had nodular desmoplastic medulloblastoma, which is brain cancer.
Like, how do you even fathom, your child has cancer? The question immediately is, God, why would you bless us with this just to take it away from us? What did we do so wrong? But we were surrounded by family, friends, our church family. The outpouring of support and faith was just so immediate and so vast. So that's when I said, you know what, we're going to pray that God is going to use this for something. This is not the end. This is going to be the beginning.
So just as a way of coping, we started a Facebook page, Prayers for Gideon. And we would write status updates, and we would ask for specific prayers of healing. So after 30 days in the ICU, Gideon just turned a corner, and he began chemotherapy.
A lot of the chemotherapy treatments are dependent on white blood cell count. So at one point, Gideon had gone in to get his labs done, and his white blood cell count was 0.
In order for him to go home, Gideon's white blood cells needed to be 500. We were told to expect he would be in the hospital at least 4 or 5 days to achieve that 500 count.
We begged for prayers from people, and literally thousands of people prayed specifically that our son's white blood cell count would go up enough that we wouldn't have to push him to treatment, and God answered the call. His white blood cell count went from 0 to 7,000 in less than 8 hours.
They had to run the test 3 times. No one could understand. God was healing our baby. Gideon has gone through 6 months of chemotherapy, and his last day of chemo is on the day before Thanksgiving. And it was just that perfect timing. We had so much to be thankful for. And so he was going to go in for an MRI, and I called friends from the church, and I said, he needed to come because there's going to be a miracle. God's going to heal Gideon. And so we had a 4-hour MRI, and the oncologist came in and said Gideon has no evidence of disease, no cancer in his body.
Some of the most amazing words in the world. It was right around Christmas time, like the best Christmas present ever.
We had rejoiced and praised. We stopped down and we listened to the birds sing, and we looked at the flowers. God has taught us so much about life and how to cherish each moment.
This is the story of a little boy that was diagnosed with one of the most horrific diseases that we can think of, and God blessed it and he came through it.
It's not a road that we would have chosen, but God is always there. And he was with us. He never left us.
I hope that, people see Gideon's story and see hope.
That they would trust God, maybe for the first time. And I often say, if one life was saved through Gideon having cancer, we would do that again. God has taught us that he can use someone so small to make such a big difference in the world.
Okay. So, obviously, powerful God, right? It doesn't always work out that way, It's not always all good. Sometimes there's some obstacles that get in the way. Sometimes it happens. But what I'm trying to make sure that you understand clearly is that you, A, have to be prepared for every situation. B, you got to put in levels of energy far beyond what you could ever imagine. And then ultimately know that you are not alone, not just in this place, but in the spiritual world. People think that I'm crazy sometimes. People, because I'll pray for a 60-car day. I'll ask God to help me sell cars. I'm not afraid to ask God to help me sell cars. My kids ask me for everything. Do you know why my kids ask me for everything? They ask me for lollipops and candy bars and bowls of cereal and scooters and rollerblades and everything. You know why they ask me for everything? Because I'm their father. That's my job. They're supposed to ask me for everything. That's what they're supposed to do. We have a Father in heaven that we can ask. We can ask for help and we can ask for blessings. We can ask Him to shelter us from the storms. If you're not doing that, you got to work on that. You got to work on that. And I know some people think I'm freaking crazy. Some people think that's absurd. Well, you can't ask God to help you sell cars. Some people can think whatever they want. But then there's other people that think I'm rich. And that I'm successful. And that I have a beautiful family. And that's because I asked for those things, guys. I asked for them all. I make sure that I'm prepared. I'm making sure that I outwork everyone and that I'm putting in massive amounts of energy so I can blast through any obstacle. And I ask God for His favor and His blessings on me and on this team. You guys are a part of something bigger than you. This is a great place to be. We're going to sell 1,000 cars a month. That's what we're going to do. We got to make sure that we're prepared to do that. In order to sell 1,000, you got to be able to service 1,000. So part of our preparation is making sure our service department is prepared for us to sell 1,000 cars a month. Making sure our inventory is prepared. Making sure we have guys in the right positions as far as leadership roles in our sales team and our new hires. We're making sure that we're prepared to sell 1,000 cars a month. Once the preparation is all done, we got to make sure that we exceed and overestimate how much energy and effort it takes to sell 1,000 cars a month. 40 cars a day, every single day. Rain, snow, doesn't matter. Hot, cold, doesn't matter. Economy dips, doesn't matter. Nuclear war drops off, doesn't matter. We have to be prepared, and we have to set ourselves up with this massive level of energy going in order to sell 1,000 cars a month. And then the last part, because it will be a miracle when we do it. The last part is we have to understand that we're not alone. We're together as a team, and God's got our back. If you're with me, stand up. Because I am on a mission to eradicate the negative stigmas associated with the car business. We can do this by making sure our customers feel special, feel important, and feel like they're the only one. I will exceed my customers. Did I mess up? Today, tomorrow, and in the future. I will not just, I will create fans, and I messed up. Thank you guys. Get to work. Have a good day. How about this again? Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Amber. We will have a huge day. Do me a favor, man. If anybody can hear this message or feel like anybody needs to hear this message, go ahead. Share the feed. We would love for you to share the feed, reach out there. We're on a mission, basically. We want to reach out to as many people as humanly possible. So we need your help. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you need a car, you know where to find us. Dan Cummins, Chevrolet and Buick, Paris, Kentucky. You can find us online, dancummins.com. Thank you guys.